coming back.
I thought he was gonna miss this.
We got a finance committee meeting.
He was a good bit too.
Got good color.
With the hair.
Cold weather.
Yeah, okay, so he's gonna miss.
Perfect.
Well, Bruce said he was gonna miss.
His red tape,
Yeah.
I think I jumped
Yep.
off.
I think he ought to at least be in on a conference call on it, so.
Who's gonna do?
Yeah, he's,
Now that the weather's got.
Yeah. Yeah. He goes to,
Well,
I'm going out to New Jersey
Yep, we're ready to be done.
where's that?
way down low on the golf, on the,
No, I got a case out there.
thank you, sir.
Drink green beer,
Yeah.
run around putting hat on.
walk in the court on Friday morning hungover.
That's good, thank you.
The first time.
Okay. What's that? Let's call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bruce, roll call, please.
Councilmember Barrett,
Here.
Councilmember Bisbal. I'm sorry, he's not here. Councilmember Ellis,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gazelle,
Here.
Mayor Koziorski,
Here.
Councilmember Cusick. Here. And I see we have Councilmember Ashland,
Hey,
And Bruce said,
Chambers.
had sent an email that he wasn't gonna be here for the March meeting, so we need a motion to excuse him. Is there support?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the next item is the approval of the minutes of the February 16 regular meeting, pages 3 to 6.
Motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second? Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Also, we have different committee and commission minutes, including the pension committee, the finance committee, and the park and harbor committee. Again, we're receiving in the public domain on pages 7 to 16. I need a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, public comment? Any public comment? Well, the next item is the life-saving awards presentation. Chief, such an honor to have this.
It is. It's a great honor. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. We're here to honor 4 officers tonight for the Department Life Saving Award. I would like to preface my remarks by stating that Grosse Pointe Shores is one of the only of a few departments in the nation that have licensed paramedics in the police cars. We take great pride in our average response time of 3.5 minutes for the arrival of the ambulance, and often a police car is on scene prior to that. Our medic response time is 1/2 of the national benchmark of 8 minutes. On August 19, 2015, at 11:31 p.m., Sergeant James Wardowski and PSOs Jason Rengert and Michael O'Brien were working the night shift and were informed over the radio by our dispatch center that approximately 10 motorcycles were eastbound on Jefferson at a speed in excess of 100 miles per hour, disregarding all traffic control devices. 6 of the motorcycles turned north onto Moross, and 4 maintained their speeds northbound on Lakeshore Drive into Grosse Pointe Shores. Officers temporarily lost sight of the riders as they crossed Vernier Road. Seconds later, Officer Michael O'Brien reported one of the motorcycles struck a curb and crashed at Blairmore and Lakeshore Drive. Officer O'Brien was joined immediately at the crash site by Officer Rengert. With the headlights from their scout cars illuminating the crash site, paramedics O'Brien and Rengert assisted the patient and assessed the patient, an 18-year-old male with an open femur fracture with arterial blood pooling on the roadway, multiple chest fractures, which created significant respiratory distress. Because of the critical trauma, there was no time to get up to retrieve our ambulance from the garage, so Medic 5 from Grosse Pointe Woods was ordered. Officer O'Brien retrieved a tourniquet from his duty bag, and Officer Rengert applied it to the patient to control the bleeding, while Officer O'Brien monitored the victim's airway. Bleeding was temporarily controlled, and upon arrival of the medic, the patient was conveyed to St. John Hospital, where he underwent emergency surgery, which saved his leg. This individual was charged with reckless driving and He has since been found guilty in our court. Under very difficult conditions, the actions of these two paramedics clearly saved the life of this individual, and it is an honor to award these two officers the Department Life Saving Award. On Sunday, November 29th, 2015, at 10:56 a.m., PSOs Tony Spina and Justin Childry were dispatched to a residence in the 700 block of Sheldon Road on a report of a 62-year-old male resident experiencing chest pain and severe respiratory distress. Once on the scene, the paramedics recognized the patient's rapidly deteriorating condition that quickly declined into a full cardiac arrest. This fatal condition was reversed with the initiation of advanced life support interventions. Due to their treatments on the scene and en route to the hospital, the patient had return of circulation and spontaneous respirations, saving this critical ill patient's life. The patient's condition continued to improve during transport and was turned over to the resuscitation staff at St. John Hospital. In January of this year, I received a follow-up letter of appreciation from the patient's wife, who indicated that her husband underwent surgery for a severely blocked artery. The cardiologist from St. John Hospital informed the patient that it was a quick response of the paramedics that allowed him the opportunity to clear the artery. This patient is fully recovered and returned to work full-time. I also want to report that these two officers went to the home of Mr. and Mrs. Kaser and to check on the patient during his recovery period. It should be noted that I receive these letters frequently from residents for serious life-threatening events and those, some not so serious. It is again my honor to award PSO Tony Spina and PSO Justin Childry the Department's Life Saving Award. I'm very pleased to report that Mr. and Mrs. Kaser are here tonight, and if they would like to come up, and they indicated they'd like to make a brief comment.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to say that I had no idea that there was anything wrong. I truly just thought he was choking on a pill. And for them to come and assess the situation, and he arrested right in the driveway, and they saved him, and truly that the cardiologist said it was you that allowed him to finish the surgery, and he ended up having 2 actual procedures. And so it truly was life-saving that morning, because we had no idea. And I just feel so honored and proud that you did not give up, and your training and just everything you did was just perfect. Thank you.
Just to add to that, another real important thing, I can't express more appreciation than living in this community. The total infrastructure just works so well. From the immediate response, obviously, to the extremely good training, to the follow-up where the officers came by the home to find out how everything was going, and it was just a wonderful, comforting thing. I can't explain. Wonderful place to live, the best place I could ever imagine to live. Had I lived virtually anywhere else, the cardiologist said I likely wouldn't have made it. So the close response, the fast response, and everything that you guys did is just words don't convey the real meaning. So thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you, Chief, for the presentations. I mean, when life and death is measured in seconds, mere seconds, I mean, that's the difference between living and not living. And we're just so grateful that we have such a top drawer department. Our public safety being triple trained, almost every officer is triple trained, knowing that at any moment, at any second, you can have an EMT trained, technician working on you at the same time as protecting you. I mean, it's just, that's why Grosse Pointe Shores is a destination city. That's why people move here, because they know that we have premier services, and that's one thing that, with our manager's help, and that we did not want to compromise at all. And Chief, thanks to your leadership during these times and making sure we have every available tool so that our residents can enjoy the finest. We have a defibrillator here in the building. We have one, I think, in the cars that are available. I mean, so if you need that advanced support, I hope I don't need that support, but, and I'm your age, but, it's really gratifying to know that we have such a fine corps of officers protecting us and saving us when it's needed. So thank you again. Thank you, officers. Thank you, Chief, for your leadership. Mark, for your leadership here and making sure that we spare really no cost in terms of providing the highest top drawer service to our residents. So thank you to everyone that came. We really appreciate that. The next item is the Public Library Board update. Is Kim present? Thank you, officers. I know.
Well, I just cleared everything out, huh?
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be an uneventful day.
Yeah, that's right.
Like he said, back to work.
Here.
I don't think there are too many want to see you.
Oh.
If you could move to the front of the building.
Marcus,
Yeah, first church view, I know.
that's what the priest says in church. Don't.
Come on.
Come on, feel welcome here. Mark, is Kim coming to the,
She was supposed to be coming, and certainly, she's up for reappointment, was going to give an update from the library board perspective. So you might come back to her if she.
okay, well, let's delay, let's defer this item and go to Rhonda, Finance Chairpersons.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
In your packet, you have a list of our transfers for the month of March. One addition to this is our bond interest payments listed towards the bottom. The one is the Honeywell payment, and then also the remaining bond interest on the Marina bond that we just refinanced, and then also on the 2013 bond. If there's no questions on those transfers, we can go to the list of checks. There's not too many checks on here that are unusual for this period. The normal meter replacements, fuel charges, even a salt bill yet. But there is one on the first page of the check register to Ray Haven Group for the bathhouse partitions. And this was done last fall. It was tearing down the old partitions and replacing them. And that was $11,833.
Is that for all the bathrooms?
They were pretty rusty, I know.
Men's and ladies? Yeah.
On the second page of the check register, about midway down the page, there's a check to RMMR Consultants, and that was close to $30,000 for the camera system. I believe that is the last payment on that. There are 5 checks, 3 of them which are at the bottom of page 2, to 5 of our public safety officers, where we had the Social Security taxes withheld from their check. And this, we are still receiving some of the refunds from the IRS, in which then we refund the employees for that.
Rhonda, is that why we had a payment to the IRS? It was was that relating to the 941?
It was related to a 941. It was when I was on vacation, one of the payments
Okay.
didn't go through.
Okay.
So,
But we're done with that, okay.
yes, we're still waiting for a couple more payments to come in.
Okay. Is there any other questions of Rhonda? If not,
The petting zoo?
That's for, we pay up front for Carousel Acres to come in for the petting zoo during the Easter egg hunt.
well, I need a motion to accept this check run for, in the amount of $264,000.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thanks, Rhonda.
And then also in the packet is your revenue and expenditure sheets for the various funds, along with the balance sheets. At this time, I believe we still are on track with our budget. The last few weeks, we've been very busy. End of February, we printed up the assessment notices, sent those out. Yesterday was our first day of our March Board of Review sessions. We had 7 appointments and 2 mail-in protests at that point. Last day of our board review session is next Monday, the 21st, and currently we only have 4 appointments set up for that. The property taxes for Macomb County portion of Grosse Pointe Shores, we are 100% collected. On the Wayne County side, we have 32 parcels that are being returned delinquent to the Wayne County. Some of them may just be the summer bill was not paid. Some of them, it's just the winter tax not paid, and a few that both summer and winter were not paid. So at this point, we are 98% collected overall, 98.6% collected on the city taxes.
Okay.
Rhonda, how does that 32 parcels compare to in the previous years?
It's just slightly higher than last year, which last year I believe was our lowest year.
What's the total dollar amount?
For the city taxes, around 60,000, just off the top of my head. One thing that I do that not many communities do is like this year, the winter taxes, you had until February 16th to pay them. Normally it'd be February 14th. And we can only collect taxes here through the month of February. So a couple of days after the deadline, we then go ahead and send letters to those that have not paid, letting them know they have until February 29th this year to pay it. And I would say 8, 10 people came in and totally forgot about it. So we avoided having to send those delinquent, giving them the heads up. We do it because we have a small amount of people, so we can do that.
That's a good practice, Rhonda. I'm sure they appreciate that.
Sure.
Instead of getting a surprise a few months later.
And going down
from the
Wayne,
county
yeah.
treasurer.
What happens once they go to Wayne County, once it's turned over?
I'm not sure on the actual mailing of their notices, but I believe it's a couple months once I turn my stuff in, that Wayne County then sends letters out. So,
And then what happens? I mean, has anyone lost their property here, or if most
Yeah.
people have paid?
there was one this past year, that the vacant lot, that the city ended up
Oh.
paying back for.
Just a vacant lot, though. Okay.
Okay, good.
The water bills also went out late last week. Those are due April 4th. Over half of them were minimum bills, because this is the bill generally for December, January, and February usage, so it was the lowest bills of the year.
Okay, good. Any questions of Rhonda? Not, I know Bruce is working on the Finance Committee report. He'll deliver that next month, so.
Thank you for what you do.
Thanks, Rhonda. Yeah, that's a nice reminder to the residents, rather than having to go downtown and park and everything else. Chief, the Public Safety report?
Yeah, good evening again. It is my privilege to provide the annual report for the Public Safety Department for 2015. I would like to highlight a couple areas that I feel are very significant. First and foremost, I want to thank people who were instrumental in the gathering of data and formatting for this report. My investigator, Lieutenant Scott Rohr, assembled all of the criminal and medical data, and Sergeant Ron Coast and Lieutenant Bill Nicholson compiled the fire run activity. Lieutenant Rohr and my senior clerk, Lisa Campbell, assisted as well with the graphics. On the police side, Part 1 crimes, those categorized by the FBI as the most serious, we had a total of 15, of which 12 of those 15 were reported as larcenies. As you are aware, larceny is a crime of opportunity, and because of our alert citizens reporting suspicious activity and our high police visibility within the community, we have kept this number historically low. To summarize our larceny statistics, we have had a total of 40 reported thefts in 13 years, or an average of 3 per year. Also, 2015 marks the third year that we have not had an auto theft. It should also be noted that 6 of the 8 Part 1 categories in Grosse Pointe Shores reported no criminal activity whatsoever. Part 2 crimes defined by the FBI include less serious offenses. We experienced a decline in 2015 of a total of 16 for a total of 133. While this number appears high, 90 of the total 133 can be attributed to officer-initiated OWI and narcotics arrests, and 12 are attributed to identity theft. 76% are not criminal activity within the community. As I have stated in previous reports, Grosse Pointe Shores, with its population under 10,000 at approximately 3,000 residents, we are not included in the national crime comparisons. In research of cities in Michigan with populations between 10 and 25,000, Grosse Pointe Shores has the lowest overall crime rate. In researching random cities nationally with populations at or near 3,000 residents and what they are reporting to the FBI, Grosse Pointe Shores again had the lowest overall reported crime in that category. And what I did was I looked at individual cities across the United States and that have just 3,000 residents. Then I went to the FBI and pulled their stats. Even though they're not included in the national average, I put them together myself. While we are very proud of these numbers, we should be aware that some specific activity that affects all neighboring communities can spike from time to time. We strongly encourage our residents to notify our dispatch center immediately if they observe any activity believed to be suspicious in nature. Grosse Pointe Shores, again, in 2015, leads all of the Grosse Pointe communities with OWI enforcement with a total of 79 for the year. In 2015, the Grosse Pointe Shores Municipal Court collected $397,500 in violation fines and court-related costs. I'm also happy to report on the police side that in 2015, we did not have an amphibious assault on our shores.
Not even duck hunters?
Actually, I checked with former director Gary Mitchell, and he indicates that for 114 years, we have not had one. So he must have firsthand knowledge of it.
I didn't know he served that long.
Turning to fire and medical response, in 2015, there were no structure fires reported, and our paramedics treated and transported 144 patients to area hospitals. Our department staff paramedic transport unit continues to be the benchmark for all area providers and is one of the most resident appreciated services. All 18 of our public safety officers participated in 2,124 hours of academy level or in-house training activity, or 118 hours per officer for the year. In the area of cost recovery, 2015 was a very different year than 2014. While the officer's salary recovery for commercial security details at Ford House and Grosse Pointe Yacht Club remained the same, the administrative towing and OWI fees also remained approximately the same. The infrastructure damage recovery dropped considerably. We recovered 100% of all the damage to the village in 2014 for a total of $67,800. In 2015, we also recovered 100% of the damage, but only for a total of $3,227. So we lost a few more light poles and fences in 2014. So while our residents are on vacation, the security of their property is one in which we take great pride. In 2015, our officers made 6,059 individual daily checks on homes while the residents were away. In conclusion, I firmly believe that one of the reasons Grosse Pointe Shores remains a very safe place to live and raise a family is because the Public Safety Department has been allowed to maintain staffing levels where we can adequately protect the community and provide a high level of personalized service. That is my report, and I wanted to mention that a copy of this annual report will be posted on the public safety page of our website and on display for anyone wishing to review it at City Hall.
Great, yeah, great work, Chief. I mean, and I hope our residents take advantage of it to go upstairs and see what a professional presentation the report is. So, are there any questions of the chief?
I got a question on those larcenies. What kind of examples? Out of garages or, I mean?
We've had some that were related to maid services where property's been missing from the house. We've had a couple, I actually can't even think of a, tool shed perhaps. We had an incident at the 55, South Deeplands, which we recovered that property, but, so they're very minor in number and they're unprecedentedly low. Our statistics compared to our neighboring communities is in significant contrast.
Yeah, and that's just the one that, I looked at the report and everything had this big increase over last year. It was like,
And residents can take a large part in preventing those larcenies because it is a crime of opportunity. If they see a cell phone, if they see a computer in a car, if they see your garage door open and a lawnmower, that creates the opportunity, and then all they need to do is complete the crime. And so we're very pleased with the numbers.
I'd like to say, Chief, real quick, I really appreciate the enforcement of the 3 to 5 a.m. rule of having cars off the street. I'm glad you're doing that.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, Alex. We're having signs printed. The DPW is working with me, and we're going to post some signage at the major entrances to the community so that everyone knows. It's a benefit. It helps my officers on midnights because they know if a car's on the street, it either should be on the list or it's in violation. So it really assists us in knowing which cars belong and which cars don't. And I've had very few complaints about it. Some say it was enforced rather sporadically, and now we're making it a routine.
Right, and you have not had to give citations, and no one's lost money.
We've given some. We've
Okay.
probably given in the last 3 or 4 months, we've probably given a total of about 15 or 20. But we went through a several-week period where we did all notifications of,
Right.
we warned them, and we said,
So they knew.
this is coming. So
Good.
I just wanted to briefly give you a quick snapshot of our cameras, the camera system.
Please don't bring me up. Don't make me speeding.
The clarity on this monitor is not what it is on our computers in our computer room. But
Pretty darn good right here.
these tiles represent the 7 cameras that are currently in service. 1100 Lakeshore looking south, Woodland Shore looking south, Ballantyne Road looking north, Woodland Shore, Ballantyne south, Cook Road west, and 1100 Lakeshore north. And what you can see, I can run them all. This is not today's footage. This is footage from January.
See snow.
I didn't even catch that.
So for example, if you wanted to, we want to isolate, what we can do is bring in just the one.
Boy, the resolution is something.
Where did you see it? You can.
Will these be monitored routinely or just in the event of an accident or questions?
No, they're not monitored 24/7, but they are,
Taped?
yeah, they are, yes, they're taped, and we can archive them for about 45 or 60 days, depending on,
Storage, it's probably a storage,
Look at that.
yeah. And you can freeze frame it.
how's that again? No, this is a standalone system. those three tiles that you see there are, I'm trying to get this, to cue this up,
Tommy was giving instructions earlier today. I sat through part of it, so, but I can't help
if you isolate, this is a Chrysler 300, if you isolate the car,
with this.
you can highlight the plate,
Yeah, there it is.
and, so there is,
Got night vision too then?
they're better at night, but they're okay at night with ambient lighting, but they're far better in the day. But they're gonna provide for us, I think, an enhancement on what we're if we should need them. But I wanted to show you what they are capable of doing. They will be. They do record 24/7, and so we will. We'll keep you posted. Those three tiles that were not filled in, that's going to be Vernier Lakeshore when that project is completed.
Very good. Good work, Chief. It seems that I've been seeing more helicopters at night. Is that Border Patrol or is that, late at night?
From Selfridge, the Coast Guard runs their rescue helicopter pretty regularly, and they're
Okay.
kind of ramping up for spring, I think. So
Okay.
they're doing some training out there.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Public Works, Brett? We're fortunate to have such a fine department, Chief. I mean, really, and, I mean,
resources.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council, and residents. I'll try to be brief this evening. This unseasonable weather has given your DPW the opportunity to do some pretty neat stuff. We've actually had our street sweeper out already. This is probably one of the earliest we've had it out in a number of years. As you recall at our last meeting, I mentioned we had it all tore apart and we were literally making parts for it for the sweeper head, and took a few days to get it adjusted, and it's doing a great job out there, so we're proud of the guys. Believe it or not, the tulips and the crocuses are already starting to grow, and the grounds crew's getting antsy to get out there and start getting our beds ready for spring planting. Our cleanups haven't started yet. Things are kind of wet, but we'll be looking to get to those soon. I also made a mention last month, the damage that was done out of our northeast storm we had a while back, and we had some construction that was going to take place across the street. Well, the company's been working on that, and they installed 50 tons of stone, and after looking at it today, we ordered another 50 tons. There was quite a bit of damage over there, and things are looking a whole lot better, but we'll get some more stone in there and try to bring things back the way they used to be. But to lose 100 tons of stone was quite unique, something I haven't seen before. Again, it's going to look real nice by the time we have it done this spring. Our cold patch crew has been quite busy already. Normally, this is something that usually gets started right in April when the things start thawing out, but we got an early start, so if you see something that needs some attention out there, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We're out almost every day trying to fill potholes. We had some issues with the supply of cold patch, believe it or not, this year. Apparently, everybody is experiencing more troubles earlier than what the companies are used to making cold patch. Normally, they don't get started for another 2 or 3 weeks, and here we got a lot of communities demanding cold patch already, so it's actually hard to come by right now. Grosse Pointe Shores has just joined RAP, and RAP is the Water Residential Assistance Program, and I'll be attending a roundtable meeting on March 22nd to get familiar with the program. And what it does is it assists residents who are in need of assistance paying their water bills. So I'm looking forward to learning what that's all about, and maybe finding the opportunity to help some of our residents. Councilman Barrett and I met this morning with a representative from DTE Gas. He gave us an update on the plan that the gas company's been working on. They're in the area. You've seen a lot of work up by Vernier Road near the expressway, and you've seen them doing some work here on Lakeshore and Vernier. And the next phase that you're going to start seeing is the company putting gas main in the ground. They're gonna start on Lakeshore Road and Vernier Road. We had one meeting this morning at 9:30, and they informed me they'll be here at the next couple weeks. And it wasn't a half hour later, I got a call from another company that said we may be starting as early as tomorrow. The first part of the project, they're going to put gas main underground. They'll directional drill it. It'll sit for a couple weeks, and then DTE will come in and start hooking pipes up to the homes. So we'll keep the residents informed. I expect to see a PowerPoint presentation coming from them quite soon. I was hoping to get it today. That'll be posted on our website as soon as it becomes available. Let's see. I also plan on giving a monthly report on that project for every council meeting. This is a project that's probably going to last a year, so I'll give you an update from month to month as things go forward. And your DPW is currently looking for seasonal employees, so if you know someone looking for a summer employment, please have them contact the DPW office. And that concludes my report. If you have any questions, I could try to answer them at this time. Yes, sir.
Let them know they'll pay for the gas meter if the residence has a gas meter in the basement.
Yes, DTE, when they hook up the pipe between the house and the street, if your meter is in the basement, DTE is going to want to put that meter on the outside, and they will be incurring all costs. In years past, if you wanted your meter placed outside or moved to a specific location, that cost was something that was assessed the resident. However, with this program here, as they're putting new piping in between the main and the home, they will do that for the residents free of charge.
Is it gonna be to all homes?
All homes and gross, yes, all homes.
This isn't, I mean, a lot of the homes, the gas line goes into the front of the house. You're gonna have a gas meter sitting out in the front of your house?
If you want your gas meter on the side of the house, they will put it on the side of the house. Yeah.
So it's
And-
gonna be like
Yes.
tearing up lawns
You
and
have to
everything?
be there when they do that. I'm sorry, sir?
They gonna tear up lawns or anything,
They'll
or?
be digging a hole at the street where the main is to hook up the pipe there, and they'll also have to dig a hole where it goes into the house, just like you have it now.
They gonna do all that in a year?
That's their plan. I'll leave it at that. That's their plan. They've been in the area doing a lot of work in other communities, and we've been watching them closely. And they're making pretty good progress. They're under order from the,
Public Service,
PSC.
I'm sorry,
Public Service Commission.
the Public Service Commission to get this work done. This is not coming through here just because they don't have anything to do. They've been ordered to do it. And so their job is to get in, get the work done, and get out.
It comes from 2 accidents where 2 employees were fatally killed, one in Macomb County and one in Western Wayne or something like that, I'm not sure. And the system's old, so.
So Brett, this affects everyone in the
This is going to affect everyone in Grosse Pointe Shores, yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Peter,
we'll-
do you have a comment?
Yes, I do. I had they detected a leak last year in the area across the street. And they deducted that there was a leak at my meter also. So they took the opportunity, took the meter outside where the leak was at. They used a polypropylene tubing that they put through the old pipe. So they're not gonna dig up your grass or meter. They go from their central line, which is across the street, across Stonebridge, and they push the line all the way through to the exact spot where my meter was inside the house, and then just bought the meter, a new meter, put it outside, and hooked it up right there. They really do it, well, some damn thing about the sprinkler system, because they repaired the sprinkler system that day.
That's what I was wondering about too.
Though you won't know until you turn it on in another month.
Yeah. All sides of different sprayers.
Yes, a yellow plastic tubing is just like your water, except it's shallower and gas goes through it instead of water. They have a stop box out near the curb, just like your water, and a connection to the gas main, just like your water. And again, there's going to be a 3x3 hole where they attach it to the main. Hopefully that will not be in people's driveways, but it was made clear to us that some of them are definitely in driveways, so people may lose their driveway for a day or two as they get that work done, and then when they re-pour concrete, there'll be pieces of sidewalk missing here and there, but they'll come back to get that fixed. Overall, what I've been seeing outside of the city, again, they haven't been in Grosse Pointe Shores yet, they seem pretty efficient. Are we gonna have problems? Absolutely. And that's where I come in, and we'll try to minimize those problems, or if there is a problem, get it taken care of.
Will they give you a schedule of some type?
We will be in contact daily. Elected not to publish a schedule for the simple reason they're schedules.
Understand.
There are so many variables, and if people make plans to those schedules, it makes things quite difficult. We have a couple little things set up. We're going to provide a little extra service. They're able to notify me a few days ahead of time where they're going to be, and we'll be, not only will the gas company be notifying our residents, your Public Works Department is going to notify the residents by phone. I mean, it's easy for us to make 20 or 30 phone calls and go up a street and say, listen, DTE is going to be on your street next week. Just be ready. So,
Good.
yeah.
But how will we, as residents, be able to tell them if we want our meters on the outside or not?
They will contact you, and you will have a personal appointment with DTE.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice.
Oh,
It's going outside.
guess I don't have a choice.
It's going
so,
outside,
okay.
the location.
Oh, okay.
Because, as Councilman said, there's a lot of them where the gas line actually goes into the front of the home, and the meter's in the basement in the front of the house. You don't want a meter in the front of your house, I wouldn't think. So you might want it on the side, and that's what they'll do free of charge. They'll be in contact with you when they want to make this hookup. Again, it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks after their mains are put in.
Yours is on the side of the house. Usually you have a newer house.
They have to get into the house, so nobody is going to be without service for any period of time. One of our big concerns, snowbirds or people that are away. They will make contact with every resident. They've also mentioned today that they'll come in late. If somebody works till 4 or 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the evening, they'll make an evening appointment, and they will work on a Saturday if absolutely necessary to get the homes hooked up.
Okay.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot more questions, and this is just us getting started here.
Well, maybe we want to televise that on our Channel 12, the schedule or tentative, just so that the residents know.
Currently, we don't have a schedule when they're going to get hooked up. Usually what happens is they come, like I mentioned earlier, they're going to put the mains in on Vernier Road and Lake Shore. And a couple weeks after that is when they start, and
Okay.
all the residents will be notified. Now, hopefully, we'll have something on our website in the next couple days on exactly what's happening, how it happens, the process. Again, the more our residents know, the more comfortable we'll
Well, good,
be. Okay?
good.
And if there's problems, they don't have to call the gas company, they can call us in the DPW, we'll make sure that our people are happy.
Brett, I wanted to thank you for having the maintenance workers work on the men's restroom, the outside at the park.
Oh,
I looked at the ceiling, because before it was, really discolored,
mhm.
and everything looks a lot better.
Very good, thank you.
So, thanks.
Thank you.
Park and Harbor, Bob?
Just briefly on this part, we've had 2 meetings since our last council meeting, and it's under old business that I'll cover them changes we made, and so.
Okay,
Can we get to that point, Mr. Mayor, if that's okay?
yeah, that's fine. Legal report, Brian?
Yeah, thank you. Since the date of the last meeting held on February 15th of this year, we've been engaged in the following activities on behalf of the city. First of all, it's been a fairly quiet month relative to other months that we've had. In the past, the city has 4 pending property tax appeals right now. I'll say 1 large one and 3 smaller ones. And with regard to those, we've been filing pleadings in the court on the one hand, in the Michigan Tax Tribunal, dealing with opposing counsel and hiring appraisers, preparing settlement analyses for the city. Looks like we're going to possibly settle 1. The other 3 are still up in the air. We also reviewed some materials that were submitted in connection with the ongoing board review, which just began on Monday of this week. I guess one of the bigger things that we've worked on is the Wide Open West WOW cable service contract. We received a proposed contract from the city just last week, and it was in pursuance of our earlier discussions with WOW and our amendment of the solicitation ordinance last month. And we looked over their contract. We determined that their proposed contract for cable service, we determined that it comports with federal law. The city's ordinance is an old ordinance that deals with cable communications, but the federal law preempts the state law or local law for that matter. So at a point, we're going to need to, I think, amend the city's ordinance to bring it into compliance with the federal law. But that said, the contract that's been submitted is compliant with federal law, and we're going to be recommending tonight after, it's an agenda item, we're going to be recommending tonight that the city approve the city's entrance into the contract. And then finally, we are continuing some research that we've been conducting on two pending resident inquiries regarding land divisions that they've requested relative to their lots, and that would involve redrawing the city plats that respect those properties. They're both on Lakeshore Drive, or both sets of requests are on Lakeshore Drive, Lakeshore Road, pardon me. So that is it for our report for the month, and I'll answer any questions any of you have.
Are there any questions of Brian? Well, Brian, I want to thank you. It may have been your contact, that email to the executives that you knew from previous employment, that resulted in us, being entertained by WOW, so.
I like to think so, for sure. Stuff comes out of the blue sometimes,
And those cases, are they in the small claims division or in the full Michigan Tax Tribunal?
They're in the small claims division, but one is not a very small claim.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised it was in the small claims division. Okay. Okay, good work, Brian.
Thanks.
Mark, manager's report?
Sure. The first thing is the weather in Florida was great. I saw the Tigers twice, and they won both games 8-3 and 3-0 the second game. And last Saturday, the former manager of Lakeland, Florida, was, like me, a past president here in Michigan. We used to be the manager in Elma, Michigan, and down there he introduced us and made arrangements, so we had a tour of behind the scenes of Joker Marchant Stadium, and with the tourist money from the state, they're putting $41 million worth of improvements into the stadium, and they are the longest and will be there for another 20 or 30 years, and they will exceed sometime in the next 8 years or something like that. They will have been in Lakeland 100 years. For the Tigers. So anyways, neat to see, and stuff. Rhonda didn't mention, or she did briefly mention the border review, but I really want to mention, with her help and Joe Suture, and I know Joe mentioned the last time, I was very concerned with running the rolls and taking everybody off the, what do they call it? Override that we did. We're pretty much now in compliance after almost 5 years, or maybe 20 years, with the state requirements. And so finally, when the border review is done next week, everything that we should have been doing for many years has now pretty much been done. And there's no likelihood, as Joe mentioned, if the state takes over your roles, they can the last time they did this to somebody, using the per parcel that they rented out or sell it to a contractor to do all the work for them, could cost us between $1 million and $1.5 million additional dollars. So, and as you know, we cut our expenses almost, I think it was $18,000 with Wayne County, but they stood up and they were here for the border review. And, I'm just glad that this has gone well and we're finally back into compliance. One of the other things Rhonda was too nice to mention, with she noticed in going through the water bills that there was and I think this is one that is not yet on the automatic read thing that we're in the process of doing. So she made an effort to call the person and said, we're going to send the service person. He found 5 leaky toilets. And the person was so grateful about it. But that's the kind of thing that the staff here does. And the little extra things, she mentioned one earlier, but she'll kick me tomorrow for mentioning this to you. That's the kind of quality people that we have to work with. Pardon me? Oh, that's right. Thank goodness. Or I would have been in trouble. For the Planning Commission, we have not heard anything on the D-Plans lot. We're pretty much sure that we'll be meeting next month because we have a lot split. And it's a person who built a house here or renovated one substantially. It's a big lot, and he's splitting it off for his daughter. And I happen to know the both of them from their previous business, and this is going to really be another nice opportunity to have someone, come here in the city. The other thing Rhonda did mention is she's recovered for the city and for the employees. I think we're splitting like $40,000 or something like that, or our share is like 30 and the employee share is 30.
For Social Security tax.
Thing. And, that's the kind of, and she did all the work to make this possible so that the employees didn't have to file amended W-2s and all that stuff. But, again, we have good employees. And as a result of having good residents, too, the cameras that the chief showed you earlier, he spent a ton of time, including dealing with Comcast, which is an impossible circumstance. But one of our local residents, Al Shanuda, is with Homeland Security, and Al arranged to have his consultants assist us. And the low bidder has been so good that we got the highest quality and stuff. And again, that's the kind of thing that residents here help us out all the time with their contacts and stuff. One thing I would say about the gas meters is we secured, when they first came in to talk about this, we secured a cash bond from Edison. The guy called me later and said his boss didn't want the money back. We ain't giving it back to him. So if there's any damage to sprinkler systems or anything like that, they are doing a good job, but anything charged, we'll be charging to their cash bond, any repairs. We've had 2 hits of our own streetlight system already that we're charging them to that fund to repair for it. And then one of the things that's happened since the last meeting is I have been selected as the new chair for the next couple of years for the SOC, for Services for Older Citizens. So I had to go to the bank and sign all my life away, and if the executive director leaves for Brazil, he's got my credit card number, or the bank does. So, but hopefully that'll be of help to our residents here as well. So, and that's all I have.
Good. Any questions for Mark? All right. Good report, Mark, and thanks for coming in just for the meeting. So.
Well, I figured if Bruce wasn't going to be here, I better. Take turns coming back. Yeah.
All right. Old business, Park and Harbor rules, pages 51 to 65.
Okay. Since the last meeting, we've made just a couple minor changes to the rules we've written. We added the dog park as part of the policy rules. They were never part of it. That was basically a temporary facility to see if it would work well. So now it's part of the rules. And on page 7, I think we told you before that we're going to have unlimited attendance from Monday through Thursday. We changed that after reviewing some data analysis provided by the chief, Monday through Friday. Looking at the data on Fridays, that it does not warrant limiting that data. The chief brought in all the gate logs, and spent a good half hour with us going through all the numbers. So the restrictions will be just held to Saturday and Sunday. So, and we're going to monitor this very closely. And we've also worked out some things with the office staff upstairs. I haven't finished that part yet. because Lynn's gonna get ready with, April 1st deadline, so I'll meet with her in a couple days and we'll finalize that. But basically, the rules are complete as they are, and we'll be posted on the website pretty shortly. Any questions?
There's just, I would just add, I didn't have a chance to meet with Bob, but I've given Lynn, there's some corrections from some old things, like the parks director and who to report to, and there were some suggestions to put in some phone numbers when we hand these out to people so that they know who to call with a direct number and stuff, but they're all minor changes. The committee, I can't thank them enough for the work that they've done to update these and keeping with the comments from residents again in the past, so.
Bob, are the fees the same? I mean, to rent the pavilion and the security deposit?
Yes.
Okay.
$25 to rent, deposit, and $150 for cleanup if you don't clean up after.
Okay. But for the most part, people get their money back. I mean, the 150.
$150, yeah, they do clean up.
Yeah, that, okay, good. New business, the WOW Cable franchise agreement, page 66.
Yeah, you have in front of you both the contract, and Brian has reviewed this. It's in keeping with the federal statute, as he mentioned earlier. We also sent by, or he did directly, sent by email, you have in front of you our proposed, Brian's proposed resolution to go ahead and approve this. And I will be in contact with him tomorrow. I know Bruce will get me, if this passes, a signed copy. I think I'll send one to our good friend Dr. Rahi about it, because he's the one that called me all the time to ask about it.
I was looking, because I remember that, I think the council in 2009 passed a 30-year agreement, non-exclusive agreement with Comcast. So it seemed to me it was like 50 or 60 pages, so I was looking to compare it, but this is like half the size, not even half the size. And that was a 30-year agreement, I think, with some renewal period, and I think it had an audit requirement or audit restriction that all the Grosse Pointes had to be united in terms of requesting an audit, and I think it was even restricted, it could only be done every, like 4 or 5 years, so this allows us to audit no more frequently than 24 months, and we have the sole authority to make that decision to initiate the audit, and it's a 10-year agreement with a 10-year renewal, so, I mean, those are the two major differences from what my recollection is of the Comcast agreement. Again,
I thought the audit was every 2 years.
well, no more than,
No more frequently.
on page 6, it says not more than every 20, a franchising entity. We were not even the franchising entity on the Comcast agreement because it was a master agreement signed by all the Grosse Pointes. So I think all the Grosse Pointes, and I think including Harper Woods, had to be united in requesting it. And to my knowledge, that's never occurred. So,
Those fees, are they the same as the Comcast contract?
Yes.
Do that.
And when are they anticipating to be up and running?
They told me a 6-month construction period, and the monies have been allocated for the construction already. And I will be happy to send them, if this passes this evening, Bruce will send me the signed copies probably tonight, and I will send it to him tomorrow.
it's a great benefit for the community because the community has wanted essentially some realistic competition with Comcast. Trying calling them on the phone, we had a Comcast dispute a month ago. My wife was on hold for 3 or 4 hours. She did the laundry, the dishes, she would, and a host of other household chores, and she was still on hold. Thank God for the speakerphone, feature, but, I mean, that's dealing with a monopoly like Comcast.
On TV, representative.
Well, at this point,
Oh, yeah.
Brian, do you have anything to add?
Really, no. As I said, the agreement comports with it's to the letter to the federal statute. The fees charged are the maximum that can be charged. So, and in response to the earlier question, they're the same as what Comcast is paying. So.
And the PEG money benefits our own community, and, so we have accountability on the PEG money.
Right. I noticed they put in here the city of Grosse Pointe Shores as opposed to our actual title.
Yeah, we'll fix that.
We can get that resolved. This is on their form.
Well, I'm pleased to invite a motion to, a resolution to approve the Uniform Video Service Agreement with WOW.
So moved.
Second?
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you for your good work, Ryan and Mark, and,
Thank
you know, and pestering them really to have them.
Thank you.
It's the squeaky wheel.
Right.
It's the grease, so good. City Hall and Dog Park access, Bob, pages 67 to 71.
Yeah, this is both the dog park issue and cart access, in essence, to our doors. It's part of it in the software for this. The chief did a lot of research in terms of securing pricing for this. And you have in front of you the result of his research. It's about $12,335 to get these things done. We'll be requiring a $50 deposit for the key fob for the dog park, and at the same time that people come in for that, we'll be checking, selling their dog license and getting all the background material. And again, a lot of that came up from resident input in suggestions. So it's our suggestion, a recommendation that council approve it, and we'll proceed and get it operating. We're also going to be putting in a better fountain than we did, since residents brought that to our attention.
Okay.
Brett knows and is researching that as we speak.
A fountain where?
This is in the dog park for big and little dogs, so there won't be just a bowl that,
Okay.
gets the grass caught in it, and other things that people mentioned.
So if I'm reading this correctly, to use the dog park, it's a $50 fee. Is that yearly?
No, they'll be renting a fob from us that will let them go in, or their, person that brings their dog here and stuff, and only those that have access will be able to get in
Okay.
with the fob.
They get their $50 back when they turn in the card. Yeah, it's like a deposit.
Yeah,
Is the fob unique to the dog, or is it a general fob?
it will be a general one to the gate.
Okay, okay.
However, when it's white, it will identify the dog owner.
Yeah,
So we have the ability to audit,
Yes.
essentially, somebody who might not be authorized? Okay, good. Or to make sure they have a dog license, on file.
The dog park will be a two-point entry system. You'll come into the one area and then you'll pass into the next area. So you have to swipe both ways and both way out.
Oh, good. Good security.
And then this is also though for not only the dog park.
no, part of the system is we'll be able to use the fobs, and we have to buy a minimum, 50 or something like that, for some of the secure doors here.
Okay.
And the software will cover both, so we know who will have access and who went in at 10:40 PM and stuff like that.
The park too?
No, not at this point.
But the next logical step is to put some kind of mechanism at the park then?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Okay.
Okay, good work. We need a motion to approve this quote for $12,335. I invite a motion.
So moved.
Is there support?
Second.
Again, we're approving the card access system contract with Interstate Security in the amount of $12,335. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Well, good work, everyone. Chief, Mark, Bob. Public comment. Any public comment? Beto? No? Council comments, Bob?
I have none.
Alex?
I would like to state for the record, my appreciation of the forbearance of the council for my attendance. Many of you may know, my work situation has changed somewhat dramatically, hopefully just temporarily, where my availability to come has been severely curtailed, hopefully for just a short period of time. So I considered resigning, but then in discussions with the mayor and some of the members of the council, I've decided not to, given that my situation will hopefully change before too long. And I'd like it to be noted that my lack of attendance here is not because I'm not concerned with my city. I know my city's in good hands when I'm not here, but I don't want it to be interpreted that I'm not concerned. I am, and hope to finish out my term, and I think I will. I think things will change, but I just wanted to address that on the record for a moment.
Good, thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Tina?
First, I'm glad to hear that Alex is not resigning, because
Yes.
we definitely enjoy him here. I do have two things I just want to bring up, and this is in reference to the public safety booklet that we all received, and the chief. Just want to go on record to state that myself and my daughter are no longer public safety clerks, just so that our names are in there, and I didn't want anyone to think that I still work there and there would be a conflict of interest or doing all of that. So I just wanted to touch base with that. What'd you say?
I wondered if you was mooning saying that.
Can't
She
get
also-
enough of this place.
She also used to come in clean to keep herself busy.
That's right, that's right. Although I do want to say that the Public Safety Department is near and dear to my heart, since I've worked there for, almost 2 years. What we've heard the testimony from our residents. Unfortunately, I've also had a personal experience with them, with my family. I couldn't imagine living anywhere else, knowing that when that officer is coming by, maybe just to do his public safety check, that if need be, he is also a paramedic and or a fireman. It just, we are so fortunate here to have them. And the officers that we saw here tonight, the officers we didn't see here tonight, but that work diligently for us back there, they care about the city and their residents so much. And it is their life's work to make our lives safe. And I just, it's near and dear to my heart. I was so thrilled to see that tonight. And so thank you, Chief, for that excellent work.
Thank you for your service to Morgan as well.
Thank you. And secondly, I wanted to bring up the survey that was approved at the last meeting to go out. Where are we with that, Mark? I know Lynn had said she was waiting for your,
Oh, we're ready to go.
oh, okay, all right.
We'll get it done.
Get that sent out, and that way we can
I'll
start.
send her a text tomorrow.
Okay, so that, just so that we can start compiling the residents' surveys. So the residents, please fill them out, get them back in so that we have something to work with. If there's something that you want to say, something that you want us to implement that we can look at. So please fill out the surveys. Thank you.
Thanks, Tina. Bob?
Just one comment with the awards that were made tonight to some of our PSO officers. I just would add to that, Officer Justin Childry, just shortly after he joined our ranks, was at our house to help my wife in a situation, and to this day, she talks about what a great guy he is and how well he took care of her and that sort of thing. So we really appreciate your work.
Thanks, Bob. That could be echoed many, many times. But, okay, Doug?
Yeah, just recap on the chili cook-off. I'm not gonna say it was a resounding success, but we had fun out there. There's probably about 40 of us that showed up. And I'd like to thank the admin staff upstairs, Lori, Lynn, and Tom. They helped out quite a bit. They were there on Sunday. And then your guys, Mike, and I can't remember the other fellow's name, but you probably had other guys there the day before setting up the tent and all the other stuff. So thanks, our appreciation to all those guys too. The winner was Mrs. Tara and John, her husband, Ebersole. I'm not sure what street they live on.
Sheldon.
Sheldon
Road.
Okay. And it was a white chili type of chicken chili white stuff. It was pretty good. The judges, they said it was okay too, so that chili was gonna be featured at the Cotsworth Cafe at the Ford House. I don't know that date yet, but I'll let everybody know and get it out so we can all go there and have some of that chili. Yeah, she won first place, second and third place, because she was the only one that showed up with chili. So, but, we'll hope that, you know, the momentum has started once again, because I understand that this used to be a big thing in the shores. I wasn't living here yet. But, you know, if we can get some better turnout next year and keep it up, I think we'll have a lot more participation. But thanks to everybody upstairs too.
Thanks, Doug. A few comments on my part. The Easter egg hug onto this Saturday at the Shores Park from 10 o'clock to 11:30. This event's a lot of fun, and if you look at the calendar and you see the smiling faces and the Easter bunny, I mean, it's really priceless. The children, what we find out as time goes by so fast, the children grow up too quickly, the grandchildren grow up too quickly, but this is a nice event to take your children and grandchildren. I think in past, we've had over 100 people averaging, and I know that there's going to be a lot of work in setting up. Helen, I'm looking at you. I know you'll probably be part of the team. The day before, the beautification committee, you know, headed by Helen, is going to be there to set up and make it looking really, really nice and beautiful. Today, I received a telephone call from Senator Gary Peters' office. Corey Warford, I think, is our representative, and I haven't had a chance to tell Mark this, but she was following up on our letter. We had a joint letter signed by the Grosse Pointe Farms mayor, myself, and also signed by our Wayne County representative, Tim Killeen. And she said the senator's been made aware of our concerns regarding the deteriorating conditions of the seawall, the break wall in Grosse Pointe Shores and Grosse Pointe Farms. I don't know if it affects Grosse Pointe City, but that Senator Peters is offering through his staff to meet with us and see if they can come up with a solution, because it is in bad shape. If you walk on that side of the road, you'll see divisions in the cement where it potentially is a hazard. So they want to meet in the next couple of weeks, and I'm going to ask Mark to coordinate a meeting. They're willing to come here, but it's nice to hear from our senator that he's concerned. Pictures were delivered to him, and he's going to see if he can help us with a solution. As everyone is aware, we have issued new municipal bonds to refinance our marina bond debt. I've received, about a dozen calls or more from people asking, when can I buy one of those bonds? When can I buy one of those bonds? And I believe this is the case, Mark. All the bonds were already pre-sold in the primary market, so the only chance to buy a municipal bond from Grosse Pointe Shores would be in the secondary market. But so many people have inquired, residents saying, I want one for my 401k, I want one for my IRA. So that's pretty gratifying to hear. As Doug said, that chili cook-off was held this year after maybe a 5-year hiatus. And I counted about 50 residents, and, you know, on a kind of a cooler, you know, gloomy day, we're going to start calling it the end of winter party, you know, so, because right after that, we go right into spring. And I promised our winner, I promised Tara that she'd have spirited competition next year. So the judges were really nice. One of our residents, Elias Ropados, was one of the judges. He's the owner of Mac Diner, and he gave some very constructive and, critiquing of the chili. And then the other one was the man from the Ford House.
Yes, Continental Catering.
And he was asking specific questions about the ingredients, and, I could just tell he was way over my head in terms of his culinary arts. So, but I think that was good. Reservations are being taken April 1st to reserve your family picnic. I want to thank Bob Barrett, and Tina for working diligently on the revised rules so that any Shores resident can enjoy the amenities of the park, and, so we don't have maybe as much congestion on the weekends. Also, a resident asked at the town hall, and I said, the list of park passes issued to non-residents will be available for inspection at any time here in the upstairs office. We had a town hall a few weeks ago, and the purpose of the town hall is to get closer to the residents, find out how we can improve our services. We know we offer premier services. We know that, but sometimes a little tweaking is good, and they make you aware of a problem that you didn't even know about. Plus, you meet the residents that maybe you didn't even know. And it was mentioned that we're sending out a survey to our residents this spring to find out how we can improve. I should note, I looked on the website the other day, and property sales for Grosse Pointe Shores, we had 44 properties that were sold in calendar year 2015. 11 of them were on Lake Shore Road, and of those 11, 9 properties sold for over $1 million. The trend is really good. Last week, my neighbor kind of surprised me, put his house on the market. It sold in 2 days. It sold in 2 days at the asking price. So, and there's a reason for it. I mean, the reason is, of course, this is Grosse Pointe Shores. People know that we offer premier services. They know our public safety department is second to none. The triple training, you know, how many people have been affected by the officers in terms of, you know, making decisions that save someone's life. I mean, Tina, I'm aware of what occurred in your family, and as Bob mentioned, you know, almost every one of our families have been touched by public safety in a very favorable manner. We take it for granted, but when you give an award like we did today, Chief, those life-saving awards, and you think of, you know, how many lives have been saved by the officers? And they just do it, it's just part of their duties, it's part of their day. So, you know, I really think that that's the reason people make Grosse Pointe Shores their destination city. And when they move here, they typically don't leave. You know, this is the retirement community. So we have younger families moving in. It's, you know, it's really all favorable. I'm pushing the different blocks to have their own block parties, to let the chief know so that maybe we can have some officers. The kids love it. When we had one a couple years ago on Woodland Shore Drive, I mean, it was the hit of the year, and everyone really enjoyed it. Brett, your crew brought the big barbecue, you know, and I tasted and ate too much food, but, you know, it was just wonderful meeting the neighbors. And that's what a small community of 1,100 homes offers, you know, that really close-knit spirit and community pride. So, well, I need a motion to adjourn. Our next meeting is April 19th, right after April 18th, which is the due date for your taxes. So, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And thanks, Ellen, for starting working this weekend on the park. So,
Give you, here are my comments. that I'll give to you.
There's been a lot of that this week.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to define who. Yep.
you know, people were kind of,
You know, I was gonna.
I wanted to see work on it. I mean, I think that it goes into, you know,
I'm glad you're here.
and that's why I'm frustrated, because I'm going like, you know, that seems like we're not doing our job of communicating somehow. You know? I mean, I don't look at our website, you know, and some of the I mean, it's pretty hard. Daily news or not a weekly newsletter or something like that. We can't do that. Yeah, that's why I'm wondering something like this now, you know, so many people, you know, and I get a lot of junk emails, and some of them I never see because my spam filter